Everyone, I'm here to discuss the decks that I'm using for the month of August. Just a few business things to get out of the way before we get started with that. First of all, in the Spirit Rebel Coven, I renamed the coven to Spirit Rebel. I just started getting that phrase in my mind and I just thought, I love that phrase. I'm going to go with it. So Spirit Rebel for people who are, not confined by any boxes of their spirituality. That is why I put that there. We don't follow a particular dogmatic religion. If you feel like you don't fit into, this particular tradition, or I'm this kind of witch, there's some people who are very narrow in their scope, which is fine. But this is more for people who, feel like their spirituality is a little bit outside the box. So that's why I called it that. But anyway, we're going to be working with lunar energy. We're going to be working with Luna. And we're going to be working on friendship and connection spells for this lunar cycle. And in the Witch School, our theme for the month is daily practices. It's going to be all about working with simple things you can do to enhance your spiritual practice. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on for the next while, is themes about developing your own personal spirituality, developing, a simple but powerful practice. We all are busy. We don't all have time and money for all these ingredients and time to do these elaborate rituals. It's just, if you do, that's great. But for a lot of us that just don't have the time and the money, quite frankly. And that's what I'm doing. Simple and straightforward. So if you want to join me for daily practices, we're going to be talking about that in Witch School on the Patreon. So now that's out of the way, let's get on with what decks I'm using for the month of August. So for the month of August, I am going to be doing one of my favorite decks, and that is the Everyday Witch by Deborah Blake. This came out a few years ago, and it is one of my favorites. It's in the sturdy Llewellyn box, the newer boxes that are much more sturdy. You've got your cat and broom and witch's hat on the back. Some people complain the cardstock's thinner, but for shuffling and stuff, I think it's good. I don't mind it. And I love the imagery on this. I love that it's borderless. You just have your little title down here. Love the colors. I love this devil. I don't know, it just evokes to me a very 90s nostalgia, sort of Scott Cunningham, Silver Ravenwolf, DJ Conway kind of vibe, very charmed. It's got like a 90s kind of vibe for me, and I like that. So I'm going to be working with that, so watch for that in the draws. My Lenormand deck, I'm going to be using the Maybe Lenormand. I really like this one because it has 52 cards in it. I do like Lenormand, with the 36, but I find I get a little more specificity with this one. And it is a very whimsical type of deck. It has the two thing here. This is my favorite when they do like two things, like two trays. That's the word I'm looking for, trays, Lou. But it is like, I love the, it's very sort of whimsical kind of drawing. You've got your 36 Lenormand in here. And then you've also got, some of the extra cards that were in sort of the German decks. And then some of the other cartomancy decks as well. Like, we've got Lightning. We've got the Broken Mirror. The Train. So I find it just adds like a little bit more to it. And I think that the whimsy of this goes really well with the Everyday Witch Tarot. I also really like this eye on the back here. It's very cool. So that's the Cartomancy deck. Because I always combine Cartomancy and Tarot together. It's one of my favorite things when I'm reading. And then for our Oracle deck of the month, I'm using the Gospel of Aradia. I did use it earlier this year, but I really wanted to pair it with the Everyday Witch. This one, it isn't whimsical like the other two decks are, but it has a very strong, powerful feminine energy to it, which I think goes really well with the Everyday Witch Tarot, which I find to be a very strong feminine type deck. It's got beautiful colors. It's got like a very Wiccan kind of vibe to it. I mean, I know it's Italian witchcraft, but it kind of makes me think of like old school Wicca from the 90s in some ways. also got a nice summery, late summer kind of vibe to it as well, which I really like. You know, and then you've got this touch of like fall energy in there, which we're coming up to. We've got a lot of like lunar type images, but a lot of floral images. I just think it's really, really great for August. So those are the decks I'm going to be working with for the month of August. And like I said, I'm kind of, you know, going back to doing the Instagram daily. I may not do it every single day, but I'm trying to focus my energy on Etsy and Patreon and YouTube, and then doing like Instagram and Twitter and stuff, you know, when I can. But not feeling all the time like, oh my God, like you have to do, like it was becoming not fun. And with everything else that's going on, I'm trying to like simplify my life, make it a little easier, not make it more difficult. So I'm trying to just get down to like the practices that I really love and that I'm able to manage at this time. And then doing other things, you know, when I'm able to. And that's kind of the plan for things right now. So those are the decks that I'm going to be using. Let me know, what are you using for the month of August? You know, I don't know, you know, if you pick a deck for the month, if you do one for the season, or you just pick up what you feel like. All ways are valid. So let me know what you're using. I know it's a short video, but I thought I'd jump on here and show you what I'm using this month. So let me know what you're using. And as always, peace and love.